Rocky, aka Jax, aka Socially Anxious Dragon, just whatever name you have for me on various social media sites. It feels like it's been forever, so it might take me a second to get back into this because I was kind of relying on the buffer I had, and I just had some stuff going on that now there's no longer a buffer, and I have to get back into it. So while I've been uploading every week, it just feels it's been so long since I've made an episode. So anyway, let's get into it, and afterwards I have some news. I just don't want to take up too much time at the beginning. So we're on the second part of Act 6. We start off with Intermission 3, and I think Intermission 3 is all I have here. I think that was kind of enough in this, that is all I had in here. It's kind of hard to remember with all the weirdness that is Act 6. So we start off with Mina and Arania, which I feel is kind of where we ended the last one, or at least it was close to the end, where we got to see some good Mina and Arania action. And so Mina's talking to Arania and saying how great she is, and like wants to give her a little kiss. She even has like the fishy lips the fishy emoji lips to show giving a kiss. And because this is in the game where Mina's going around talking to people and getting items and stuff, so the next person she goes up and talks to is Rose, and Rose, I think, is like fully coming into the fact that she's like, well, I'm gay for Kanaya, maybe I'm gay for other people too, because she is like definitely flirting with Mina and giving just like this flirtiest face that I've ever fucking seen. And she's like, oh, I'm just curious about you. You seem like an interesting person. And then, like, in hashtags, like, compliments her hair. So I think it's Rose just really being like, well, if I'm gonna be gay, I'm gonna be gay. Is what I feel this definitely is. Then we go to Kanaya, because of course that's the next stuff that we have to do. And Kanaya's referencing how much she admired Rose and how she felt hesitant about contacting Rose because of how much she admired her. And if you just heard that notification, that's because I forgot to turn my phone on silent again. One day I'll get this all figured out. Anyway, so because Mina's trying to get Kanaya to just go and talk to Porum, her ancestor, and Kanaya's like, listen, the last time I felt I was going to like make an idiot of myself, and I feel like I kind of did, so maybe it won't be great this time either. Which Mina totally picks up on, is like, oh, someone you admired, you mean her over there, referencing Rose. And Mina's like, oh, are you dating? Are you girlfriends? Or G-frond? And Kanaya's like, maybe we're dating. And I'm like, you guys are definitely dating now. You're so... This is like high-key lesbian culture, right? Just high-key, like, Woollawah culture is like, I think we're dating, but I'm not sure, when it's obvious to everyone else. Like, no, you guys are girlfriends now. It's okay. Then Dave doesn't get so much here, but there's just a reference to how he was afraid whenever he saw the big crack in the sky. He was afraid that was his glasses that had cracked, and he was like super freaking glad that it wasn't his glasses, because his best bro gave it to him, so they're super important, and that would have been awful if they got damaged in any way. And I'm like, God, speaking of people who are gay for each other and just don't know it. And then we get to the ancestors, or Dancestors, I think they're called. I should know this. I've been in the Homestuck fandom for so long, but I've only recently become, like, super active in it. It's like, oh, Homestuck's over? Now's the time to get active in the fandom. Anyway, so the Dancestors, which I should know, because they do say later in this sequence that they don't know what to call themselves, maybe the Dancestors. So we go to Latula, talking to Mina about how rad Mina is, and how it sucked when Mina wasn't there, because then Latula had to be the only one being rad, and all the radness was like left on her, and all that shit. It's just very, very gay. Like, oh yeah, we're the only rad people. The only rad people around. And speaking of Latula, the next person we go to is Porum, who's going to pop up at least one more time. Because Mina's talking about how it sucks to high-five Latula because she slaps so freaking hard. And Porum's like, oh, I know. And both us, the reader, and Mina are like, oh, do you know? Do you, Porum? And Porum's like, I'm not talking about this. What the fuck are you talking about? But, and then we get more Mina and Arania, which I really like. So yeah, we have, talking about Porum again. We're based on the way Arania is talking about Porum. Mina guesses that they were dating. And, Arania's like, listen, I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not talking about gossip here. I'm talking about, like, stuff. Like, information you need to know about people and things and what's been going on. And Mina's like, oh, you dated, da-da-da-da. And Arania finally admits that there was a little red fling, which Mina absolutely loves. And what I find really interesting about Mina asking Arania for details about this is, like, literally when anyone else tries to tell her gossip about, like, their love life or anyone else's love life or really anything that's been going on while she's been dead. Well, I mean, she's still dead, but, like, not in a dream bubble dead. When anyone else tries to tell her what's going on, she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to talk about it. She says, I don't care. Are you going to join my army or not? If not, get the fuck out. I got more stuff to do. But when Arania, who definitely does not want to talk about it, whenever she, like, mentions anything close to, like, the romantic life, Mina's all up in that business. And it's very nice. And then we switch to the beta kids, John and Jade, where they're talking about Dave Sprite and how John cannot stop thinking about and picturing Dave Sprite's butt. Listen, Dave isn't around anymore. There's only Dave Sprite. He spent a lot of time thinking about Dave's butt, so now it's just got to be about Dave Sprite's butt, I guess. And back to the interactive game, we have Kronos, which, again, kind of on the same line as Eridan, doesn't super count because just the Emporas just want to flirt with everyone possible. But yeah, in this case, it extends to Karkat and how Karkat ran off before Cronus had a chance to properly flirt with him, which is apparently very rude. And more Mina and Arania. If you can't tell, I just really love their interactions. But Mina calls her adorable. And you know, just more gayness, just little bits here and there. And then there's then we have Horace, Rufio talking about how whenever he was still dating Damara, Horace was like super flirting with him, and how Rufio wasn't super into it at the time because he knew how jealous Damara would get, and you know, that whole situation ended badly. But then he and Horace did end up dating, and yeah, and I think they're currently dating. I think is how that goes. He says it's off and on, but I think it's currently on. And then speaking of the relationship between Horace and Rufio, there's this little one of the little bubbles you can click on to read. I think is where this is from. There's a little section that says that there was a rumor going around that Horace was trying to like super court Rufio by sending him a robotic duplicate of himself to spar with, and the last like piece by piece, and the last piece was the head, and how fucked up would that be? There's no way that was true. And like obviously that's a callback to Dirk and Jake and how Dirk did that as a way to court Jake, because I love Dirk so much. And then we go to the other beta kids, Dave and Rose. Dave is doodling in a book, and I mean, like, there's subtext and there's literally drawing Karkat riding a dick. I mean, yeah, he's drawing Karkat riding a dick off into the penis sunset, and that's just, yeah. So that's what's on Dave's mind, is just doodling Karkat and penises. And then we go to this wonderful disaster that we've all been waiting for. Rose and Kanaya go on a date, and like, it's so good because they're finally going on a date, but so bad that you're just having all this secondhand embarrassment for Rose, because in order to cope with going on the date, she gets super drunk, and is like really not okay to be on this date. And Kanaya is trying to see if, like, do you want to change it? I don't really know what being drunk is for you guys, or how serious this might be, but Rose continues and says, no, we're fine, and it's just so, like, you get it, you feel for her. And especially, like, these are a bunch of, like, teenage kids on a rock where they can apparently get alcohol from somewhere, so, like, you get it, but it's still like, there were so many other things you could have done. Rose, I get it, but Rose. And then Rose, like, confirms that she did think it was a date, because they were, oh my god, it was more like just Woolloowa culture, is I think how I pronounced it before, you know, where, for those who don't know, I'm saying WLW, just a lot of people, like, jokingly pronounce it Woolloowa, and that stands for Woman Loving Woman, so it's kind of a catch-all term for you know, bisexual women, pansexual women, lesbian women, all that stuff. And to me, I also group in, like, anyone who's kind of woman-aligned in with that too. So, like, non-binary people can consider themselves women-loving women without being a woman. Anyway, that's a whole separate post. That's not what I'm not trying to get into, like, that shit on here. I can definitely get into it later if you want. But anyway, so I just want to explain that when I say Woolloowa, that's what I'm talking about for those who don't know. But yeah, so in Supreme Woolloowa culture, Rose and Kanaya were like, no, it's totally not a date. It's not a date, right? It's not a date. Even though Rose got, like, dressed super fancy for it, and Kanaya's like, I feel kind of underdressed now. And then they're like, well, do you consider it a date? I don't know. Do you consider it a date? And then, come to find out, Kanaya had been waiting in the designated meetup spot for, I think it was a couple of hours. I forget exactly how long, but for, like, an extended period of time. And then Rose is finally like, I forgot about our date. So confirmed that it was a date, and we knew it. We knew it was a date. And anyway, and there's a drunken kiss, which I'm cracking up because I totally screenshotted this, but I think the image was just too big for the page, and so it's just showing, like, the top part of it, so, like, the glow from the kiss, but not the actual kiss. Well, it's specifically the glow from Kanaya, but I'm gonna call it the glow from the kiss. So that's cracking me up, which you guys can't see, but I can see, and that's what matters. Anyway, we're towards the end, and we get another reference to Latula and Porum, where you know, everyone's kind of coming in towards the end, where Mina and Vriska are about to have a standoff, and they keep, like, calling their allies in to help with the standoff, and everyone else is like, no, this is a party. I don't know what you guys are talking about fighting. This is a party. This is great. And Latula, like, notices how Porum is dressed and compliments her on that. Which is nice. And that's actually where we end. Yeah, that was kind of like the very end of the intermission. I think that was all intermission 3. Anyway, now I'll have to actually get back into reading and making these instead of just like, I have a buffer, it's fine, I can do other stuff. So anyway, first, what I want to talk about is the exciting news I have. So, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, or, I mean, even those who do, I mean, I don't post about it a ton. I did kind of change some stuff on my profile about it. But I was cast in a fan dub of Friend Sim. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be representing a Tizius is how I pronounce it. I'm obviously that's how I pronounce it. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm saying Tizius. But yeah, so I auditioned for it last month, so back in December, and I've just been waiting to see what happens. I auditioned for a bunch of different roles, and I might end up releasing those at some point. I know I've been kind of talking off and on about bringing my Patreon back up and kind of messing with that, and I do still have a Patreon. I don't know. I just don't think I'm going to resurrect it for anything cool until now. But anyway, I have those files of my other auditions that I'm saving for something. I don't know if I want to release them or not. I'm just kind of sitting on them. But I got Tizius, which is great because I absolutely love her. For those of you who haven't played Friend Sim, Tizius is basically an overworked college student who's trying to push for social change in the very gradual way that the system might allow, that she doesn't even, that she knows won't take effect within her generation, but hopes will kind of lay the groundwork for future generations. And I love it because she's so done with everything. She's so tired, subsisting on like so much coffee, and then she is in a relationship with another character. So she's in a relationship with another female character, and that's very nice. And so she gets to be in, I believe she's in 3 episodes. So it'll be a while before that gets started up. Go follow, here, let me actually look at their Twitter page so I can make sure that I'm saying the right Twitter. But yeah, so it's ectobiologist on Twitter is the person behind the project. I was just double checking that there's no weird spelling or anything. It's ectobiologist. So yeah, he's the one behind it. He's setting it all up. He's going to be playing Lonk. And yeah, so I'm very excited for this project. I've released my Tizius audition onto Twitter. So that's on there. And we're going to end up having kind of like a script to read to sample so everyone kind of hear how our voices are. We're still in the process of setting it up. We only just got the announcement 2 days ago that who the casting was. So there's a website for it. The website is hiveswapfriendsim.card, spelled CARRD.co. So there's that. And I'm very excited about this project. I'm very excited about the other people I'm going to be in it with. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. I know that John still needs some background help. I believe like video editors and stuff like that he's going to be needing at some point. So if you have any of those skills, or if you maybe want to be a background character, there will be voice opportunities for that. So get in touch with John. And yeah, so that's a fun, exciting project. I'm not doing a whole lot of any side projects myself right now. I'm just drawing and trying to get drawing better. I'm not super great at it yet. But yeah, so that's what's going on. And yeah, so if you would like to support that would be great. If you want to support me, I previously had my Patreon linked in my on my Buzzsprout website. Now I have my Ko-Fi, my coffee. I say Ko-Fi, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be pronounced coffee because it's anyway. I'm pretty sure I have that linked on my page now. So because I find it easier to just do like, hey, here's $3 now. Rather than like signing up on a Patreon page and like saying I'm going to support you for like months. Anyway, so there's that. If you'd like to support me. Let me see what else. Yeah, so my Twitter is SA Dragon Tweets. My Tumblr is Socially Anxious Dragon for my personal Tumblr, and Jax Does Homestuck for my Homestuck side blog. And yeah, that's kind of what I've got going on. I feel like there was some other stuff, but now I can't remember it, so I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, follow me on Twitter. That's where I talk about most of my stuff. I've been kind of moving away from Tumblr lately. Twitter's just kind of easier for me right now. Not to say I'm not like active on Tumblr at all. It's just I post more stuff on Twitter, and especially now that I'm doing this, now that I'm more involved with the Homestuck community over here on Twitter, I'm definitely more on there. Also, just a little shout out to me, I turned 28 on the 13th, so this past Sunday. So yay me. Happy birthday to me. So anyway, thank you so much. Sorry, I ramble so much at the end here. Thank you if you're still listening. Please support me on Buzzsprout. If you can't, I don't know how you support. I think you like and subscribe, but Buzzsprout's weird. I don't see who subscribed to me. They just kind of calculate the amount of listeners they think I have. I am going to be uploading these to YouTube at some point. I'm just trying to get kind of the style of how I want the videos to look right now. I think they should be pretty basic. I think I have them as I want them now. I have the first 2 episodes kind of pre-made, but I'm going to go back and take a look to make sure it's what I want. But anyway, so once I get that set up, I'll post a link on Twitter and probably on my Buzzsprout account, just so you guys know, because I know I post a lot of these like just plain to Tumblr. My Buzzsprout website is jdh.buzzsprout.com. So if you want to see more of my episodes, they are there. My episodes are also on iTunes, Google Play. I think those are the only 2 places I have them right now. I know that they recently added other places that you could put them, but those are 2 places I have them now besides Buzzsprout. And yeah, so if there's anything else that you want me to talk about, anywhere else you want me to put the podcast, anything you would like about the podcast, please give me a heads up. And I'll try to incorporate that. And now I think my rambling at the end has gone on longer than the actual discussion. But really, I mostly just wanted to talk about the cool project that I'm in right now. But yeah, thank you guys for listening and continuing to listen. And I will see you next week.